Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the April 16th, 2013 meeting of the Downers Grove Village Council. It is my privilege to call this meeting to order. We have copies of our agenda on either side of the room tonight. I would invite those who would like to follow along with our proceedings to please pick up a copy. There will be multiple opportunities for public comment, both with respect to items that are on our agenda tonight, as well as a segment that we call public comment on items of a general nature. So you can think in advance if you have any questions or comments of a general nature. It is our custom to begin our meetings by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this point in time, I would invite everyone in chambers to please rise and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now I'd like to ask our village clerk, April Holden, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Rankin?
Here.
Commissioner Barnett?
Here.
Commissioner Neustadt?
Here.
Commissioner Durkin?
Here.
Commissioner Waldeck?
Here.
Commissioner Schnell?
Here.
Mayor Tully?
Here, thank you very much. This brings us to item 3, minutes of council meetings. We have one set of council meetings to approve from April 9th, 2013, our regular council meeting of that date. Do any members of the council have any questions, comments, corrections with respect to those minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So I'm sorry, I was reading what he gave me. I apologize. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Those minutes are adopted. Thank you. And that brings us to item 4, but before we get to let's do the public comments first, and then we'll go to the proclamation. How about that? Just keep everybody on their toes. We'll start with public comments tonight. Item 4, comments of a general matter with respect to items not appearing on our agenda. If anyone has questions or comments of a general nature, the protocol is to please come to the podium as our spokesmodel has done here to demonstrate how it's done. You give us your name and address, and we welcome hearing from you. This gentleman we know, Mr. Casa, how are you tonight?
Fine, Mr. Mayor, how are you? Michael Casa, I'm president of the Downers Grove Economic Development Corporation, 2001 Butterfield Road, Suite 120 in Downers Grove. About a month after I started in this job, July of 2011, the grocery anchor at Downers Park Plaza at 75th Lamont, that space became empty. It became a priority to get that space filled. Last June, the mayor, Commissioner Durkin, Manager Fieldman, and I went and visited one of the newer Shop and Save stores, which had signed an agreement to become the anchor tenant in Downers Park Plaza. I think all 4 of us were very impressed by what we saw and what we heard. And we've been, and the community's been eagerly anticipating the opening of that store. Tonight I'm pleased to report they have set the date for the grand opening. It's May 10th at 10 a.m., Friday, May 10th at 10 a.m. And they're planning a big a grand opening to commemorate the new store in Downers Grove. One of the things they've done tonight is, for anyone here in the audience or in the room, there's some food that Shop and Save has brought right outside the meeting room door, so please help yourself because there's a lot of it. And I'd like to introduce Dale Oman. He represents Shop and Save. He'd like to say a few words.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Oman.
Good evening. Thank you, Michael, very much. I want to thank everybody here tonight for this opportunity. We're very, very excited to be part of Downers Grove. We have been working feverishly to open up the store. I know everyone's been waiting. Every time I walk in and out of the store, people stop me and say, when are you going to open? When are you going to open? I promise you it'll be worth the wait. We're excited. It was some of the food we brought today. Marilyn had said, who brought the chocolate-covered strawberries? And I think
Awesome.
the quote was, to die for.
They are.
Thank you very, very much.
And I didn't know you were in the audience either. So.
We're a family-owned business. We've been in business for 10 years. This is our 6th location, and we're just very, very excited about being part of your community. Looking forward to all of you at our ribbon-cutting ceremony. We will be opening a soft opening before that, and if there's anything that we can do for you, please let us know. I also brought some catering menus for you guys, so please enjoy the catering menus and enjoy the food, and thank you so much, and thank you for your patience, most importantly. We're very happy to be part of this.
Well, thank you very much, and first and foremost, thank you for choosing Downers Grove to locate your store. As mentioned, Commissioner Durkin and I had the opportunity to visit one of your other stores, and I know we've been counting the days until you open. And thank you again for your extending your hospitality to bringing some of the victuals here tonight. I think as a matter of record, all the chocolate-covered strawberries are now gone.
I didn't eat them all.
I'm probably guilty of a couple myself, but thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Any other questions or comments of a general nature with respect to items not appearing on our agenda tonight? Please come to the podium. We look forward to hearing from you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm Marvin Shar. My wife Dawn and I live at 909 Rob Roy Place in Downers Grove. We've lived here for 27 years. I'm here tonight to ask for your help and guidance, frankly. I'm here to seek your help concerning a serious problem regarding airplane noise over the village, which has now arisen. My wife and I have been residents here for 27 years, and we live at what is basically 72nd and Lamont Road. During the past couple of weeks, we've experienced a significant increase in airplane noise over the village. The noise continues throughout the day and evening, involving both takeoffs and landings. The noise is unlike any other we've experienced in Downers Grove over the past 27 years. It's like we're living close to the airport when we bought houses here so we wouldn't be close to the airport. This is a sudden, unexpected, and serious problem. It has an impact not just on our lives, but on our property values. We want this noise to stop and to return to the life we had for the previous 27 years. I know that in the past, the village has come to the defense of its citizens regarding airplane noise. My wife and I ask that it do so now. This significant increase in airplane noise must not be allowed to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming and bringing this to our attention. I did receive, as I'm sure my colleagues did, your email on this topic either today or yesterday, and just haven't had a chance to get back to you. One of the things that we can probably do is find out whether there's been any sort of significant change in air traffic patterns, because sometimes there can be temporary ones for whatever reason. And again, I'm not suggesting I understand the ways of the FAA or regional traffic control, but we can look into it, see if there's been any publicly announced shifts in air traffic patterns that might be behind the increased noise that you have been perceiving. At least find out what that is and whether it's something that's permanent or it's temporary, and that may be at least the low-hanging fruit to start out with, get some information, and then go from there.
Thank you. How do you suggest that we best follow up with you?
Well, I can see by the furious pen scribbling over to the right of me that we're probably going to find out what we can, and since we have your email, I make the request of staff to see if we can find something easily out about any recent changes in air traffic patterns. That might be the reason for the increased noise, and then we'll respond to you. So consider your request to have been made, and we owe you a response.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to review your email. I was just wondering if the noise was coming from the Brookridge Aerial Estates or if it was coming from any other airport.
No, it's not little planes.
Yeah.
It's big planes. In fact, you can see southwest, bottom of the village, the planes.
Now we know the culprit. Thank you.
No, it's not.
Now we know the culprit. Thank you.
Yeah.
But that's
We thought it
Midwest.
was important
But it's
that
not just, I don't think it's just southwest. I think it's,
we thought it very important that we bring
Southwest
this
is
to you timely, because we don't want to leave ourselves open to the argument in some time, well, you've let it pass and therefore it's fixed.
Understood. And like I said, I think I got your email either today or yesterday, so you're very timely.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much, and thank you for coming. Appreciate your comments. Other questions or comments of a general nature? Hearing none, before we move on to public hearings, which by the way we have none, I have two proclamations to read tonight. The first, and we do have some guests with us this evening from the Downers Grove Historical Society, to whom I will present this proclamation. I'd like to read a proclamation in support of Downers Grove Founders Day. Whereas the first settler in Downers Grove was Pierce Downer, who arrived in 1832. And whereas Pierce Downer set eyes on a portion of the expansive Illinois prairie with an impressive oak tree grove that would become the village of Downers Grove. And whereas that same year the Black Hawk War ended and more settlers came. And whereas in 1845 the first store and first schoolhouse opened in Downers Grove. And whereas early settlers such as Mr. Downer, Dexter Stanley, Israel Blodgett, and Horace Dodge had the grit and determination to carve out a livelihood and establish a community. Whereas the spirit of this early community was epitomized by cooperation amongst neighbors and hospitality towards newcomers and travelers alike. And whereas this caring and hospitable nature was extended to fleeing slaves by villagers whose homes were stations on the famed Underground Railroad. And whereas in 1860, a group from Downers Grove known as the Plowboys played an integral role in the campaign to elect Abraham Lincoln president, establishing a rich tradition of political activism. This is not in the proclamation, but that's continued to today for sure. Whereas in 1873, with a population of just over 350, the first village government was formed, and Downers Grove was incorporated. Now, therefore, I, Martin T. Tully, Mayor of the Village of Downers Grove, do hereby proclaim Sunday, May 5th, 2013, as Downers Grove Founders Day, and call upon all citizens, and especially those in Downers Grove, to join me in commemorating the founding of our village. And we have a couple of members of our Historical Society here, and ask that you come up. We'll present the proclamation to you, and if you have any words you would like to share with us, we'd welcome to hear from you. First, we'll have you come down here. The man with the camera is back here. And the proclamation. Congratulations on the success of the Historical Society. Hold that up. Get a picture. All right, terrific. And then, please,
I just want to say this is the...
if you wouldn't mind doing the podium, otherwise the folks at home can't hear you. And I wouldn't want them to miss a word. Thank you.
This is a special year because it's 150 years since the death of Pierce Downey. So that's one of the reasons we're having our Founders Day this year, 2013. So it's an anniversary year for his death.
And we hope Founders Day is an annual tradition in Downers Grove.
Well, thank you for the Historical Society's efforts to keep us all aware of the important historical events that have occurred in our community's history. I always relish all the work that the Historical Society has done, and we'll have to confess in full disclosure that my wife and I are both lifetime members of the Historical Society, so thank you for all that you do. And thank you for being here tonight. Proclamation number 2 is in support of another thing the village is known for, and those are trees. This is a proclamation in support of Arbor Day. Whereas the last Friday in April has been designated as Arbor Day to encourage the planting of trees and their protection from insects and diseases that destroy their beauty and usefulness. Whereas trees add much to our community by providing beauty, helping reduce heating and cooling bills, increasing property values, enhancing the economic vitality of business areas, and improving the quality of life for years to come. And whereas the Village of Downers Grove has received national recognition for the 29th year for its tree care program by being named, once again, a Tree City USA. Now, therefore, I, Martin T. Tully, Mayor of the Village of Downers Grove, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 26, 2013, to be Arbor Day in the Village of Downers Grove and urge all residents to care for their trees. So I'm going to be very glad to present this proclamation to our very own Stan Balicki, Assistant Director of Public Works, and Kathleen Vonderheide, our forester, who we often see whenever we discuss trees. If you'd like to please come up, I can present the proclamation to you, and maybe Commissioner Barnett will have a forestry question he'll try to stump you with. Good to see you.
Thank you.
How are you?
Very much. Thank you. Well, we want to do this one as well?
Sure.
Okay. This is the accreditation plaque.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you'll have to tell us all about that one once I let you go here.
Wow, simultaneous. Nice.
Thank you.
This is
Nice.
yours, Kathleen. And please,
Thank
if you would come to the podium and tell us a little bit about the accreditation plaque.
I submitted our forestry program for accreditation to the Society of Municipal Arborists and was accredited for the second time. It's a 5-year period. You submit what your program is, what your objectives are, and your standards, and they rate your standards against national levels, and we were approved and therefore accredited. So I'm really pleased with that.
Well, terrific. Thank you for sharing that, and congratulations for getting that acknowledgement and recognition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Terrific. Well, thank you very much. That does bring us to item 5 on our agenda tonight, public hearings. We have no public hearings tonight, so we'll move right to item 6, which is our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from any members of the audience with respect to any items on the consent agenda? Any questions or comments from members of the village council with respect to any of the items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Schnell?
Aye.
Commissioner Durkin?
Aye.
Commissioner Rankin?
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett?
Aye.
Commissioner Newstead?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldeck?
Aye.
Mayor Tully?
Aye, thank you very much. The consent agenda passed unanimously. We'll move to item 7, our active agenda. We have nothing on our active agenda tonight. It takes us to item 8, which is our first reading or our workshop segment of our agenda, where we entertain items for discussion and potential action at a later point in time. It is customary for the first reading or workshop portion to be referred over to village staff for a presentation. There are 2 items on the first reading tonight, and I will refer things over to our Deputy Village Manager, Michael Baker. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Tonight I have a brief presentation that really addresses both items on the first reading section of the agenda, and they relate to the construction of a dumpster enclosure in the downtown area, along with an agreement with the Downtown Downers Grove, Inc. For the operation of that enclosure. In a brief presentation here, just to orient people with what's exactly being planned and designed. This is the location that we're talking about for the proposed installation of a dumpster enclosure, which is on the northwest corner of the parking deck site in the downtown area. Just to show you a little bit about some of the existing arrangements and conditions right now, you can see several dumpsters that are currently scattered in that location, and the parking facility is directly behind them. This picture is a little hard to see, but when it's really functioning at its worst and garbage and debris is overflowing the containers, it can look something like this, which is obviously a set of conditions that we have a strong desire to eliminate, especially in such a location that receives an extensive amount of vehicular and pedestrian traffic on a daily basis, being in such close proximity to the parking facility. And what would be proposed and the design for the enclosure would look something like this when completed. It would be a precast concrete brick facade structure that mirrors the appearance of the parking facility and would have steel gates to allow for access to the dumpsters from the single waste hauler, which would then pick up for all of the businesses that are located and participating in the use of the dumpster enclosure. This would also allow for recycling to be picked up in addition to solid waste and grease disposal. Just a couple of comments about some of the challenges that we face at this site. I put a list together here. We obviously have some issues with utilities and the utilities that run underground around that location. Stormwater as well. You may be aware that there's an 11-foot pipe that sits just to the south of the location of the proposed dumpster, actually just to the north. And stormwater flows into that pipe from around the site. There's a slight grade change. We obviously have to contend with vehicle access and deliveries that occur in that location, as well as the variety of participating businesses and the needs they have from a solid waste disposal standpoint. And again, it's a highly visible location. So I'm pleased to suggest that what we've come up with in terms of the design of the structure and the arrangement with the Downtown Management Corporation for how this is the arrangement between the village and downtown management, we think best addresses these conditions, these needs, and ultimately will make for a much more desirable kind of set of conditions in that area. Like I said, we've worked extensively with downtown management, and their partnership and assistance has been extremely beneficial. So we thank the Downtown Management Board and their Executive Director, Linda Kunze. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Baker. Appreciate the presentation on both items 8A and 8B, which relate to the same subject. Do members of the audience, any members of the audience, have any questions or comments on either of these 2 items related to the downtown dumpster enclosure? Questions or comments from the Village Council? Commissioner Newstead.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a long time coming, and I think we're at a point now where we have gone through the exercise in a way that we have covered all the bases, crossed all the Ts and dotted all the Is. Seeing the picture of the actual design really kind of brings home what the enclosure is going to look like and how it's going to benefit that area. It doesn't sound very glamorous to talk about garbage enclosures benefiting the neighborhood, but from that picture to the one with the boxes and stuff strewn around, it really will. A special thanks to the Downtown Management Board members who are here tonight, as well as Linda Kunze, ex officio members who are here as well. Lots and lots of discussion going back a long time went into this conversation. And to see it here at the finish line is a great success. I will add to that success, though, that once this one starts with shovel and ground, there's about 2 or 3 other areas in the downtown area that would probably benefit from another enclosure just like this. So this will be the blueprint and perhaps footprint of what we do in the other areas in downtown, and I look forward to seeing the patrons of the businesses use it and the effective management of the enclosure. There'll be some growing pains, I'm sure, but it's designed to clean up the area and really reduce refuse in the back behind those buildings. So I'll be supporting it 100%. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Rankin.
I think the picture, it's unfortunate that it's a little dark because it really shows the story of why that needs to be done. Often I think people are walking to the train or back, so they're walking slow and seeing that for quite a bit of time. It's not just a drive-by view, so I think this is a necessary project, and I look forward to seeing how it looks in the end. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Schnell.
2 questions. I apologize for not asking beforehand, but one, looking at that, are we certain that the size of the dumpsters inside this facility are large enough to take care of that?
We are. What will actually happen is that the frequency of pickup will increase.
Okay.
So that garbage will be actually picked up and removed on a more frequent basis.
Okay.
To make sure it sort of meets the needs of all the businesses, even at the peak times.
And there will be recycling available. Will it be available just to businesses that are using this, or will it be available to the whole downtown?
Just to the businesses that are using the enclosure.
And actually, there are 3. Sorry. The last being, how are we going to prevent dumping in the facility? Are the doors locked, or? Concern being, people have always said when you have stickers that people will become creative. I hate to even say this on camera, but people can become creative as to how they get rid of their trash. So, is there a way to prevent that kind of creativity with this?
I don't know if we can prevent necessarily the most creative people who want to
non-creative, anybody who wants to dump, let's put it that way.
There are things we can certainly do that help to provide a certain amount of security that reduce the likelihood that can happen.
Okay.
And we can look at things like cameras that assist with sort of a remote surveillance of the area as well.
Thanks. Great idea.
Commissioner Durkin?
Yeah, I just, kudos to whoever in the world got this done. Because I remember when I first got assigned to the Central Business District's board, this was a hot topic, and just to get it to where it's at now, and more importantly, the cost is pretty much the same as it's been budgeted all along that I recall from memory. So however you got it done, congratulations. I'm just so grateful we're doing it, because that used to drive the world out of me whenever I'd walk from our parking deck, and that's what we would see. I mean, we have such strict policies on residential garbage in front of people's homes, side of homes, how you store it. Enough said, but this is awesome. And do we have a completion date? I don't want to put anyone on the spot by putting an actual date in sand, or stone, maybe sand, because you can move that around, but.
Yes, we can get you that information. We'll be talking to the contractor tomorrow about the likely scheduling for the project, assuming approval at the meeting in early May.
Great, congratulations. I was starting to give up hope, so. Thank you.
Never give up hope, Commissioner. Commissioner Barnett.
Thanks, Mayor. I certainly didn't give up hope on this thing. I'm thrilled to be seeing us getting this far along. I won't echo everything everyone said, but I will raise a couple of points to underscore them. Sean just said I've talked about some of the other rules we have around town. This is our property, and it's our job to take care of it better than we have. And so that's one big reason I'm thrilled that we're doing this. The village has got several things that are sort of known draws day in and day out to the downtown. We know what they are. They're post offices and libraries and commuter parking decks. And this is our front door that several hundred people, many times not from Downers, see every single day. Commissioner Neustadt pointed out that there were a couple others certainly high on my list as the library. We have a similar condition. These are not unique to Downers Grove. What's unique is that we, for too long, let them sit. So I'm thrilled that we're doing this, and I couldn't be more supportive of it. I look forward to, as Jeff said, having this one done and getting the plans out for the next one. It's our property, and we've got to do a better job of taking care of it. Thanks for all the work.
Thank you, Commissioner. I will extend what's already been said. This is a project that's a long time in coming, and we're very much looking forward to it reaching completion. Thank you for everyone who participated in getting it to this point. If there are no other questions or comments, that brings us to the end of the first reading. Brings us to item 9 on the agenda, the mayor's report. The one item that I want to comment on tonight is obviously everyone was shocked and devastated with the attack that took place at the finish line of the Boston Marathon this week, and our thoughts and prayers go out to all those who were affected, particularly those who lost their lives. And we're very glad that those residents from Downers Grove who participated in the race are safe and at home. It is obviously very shocking when something like this happens, because there are many events that take place, whether it's Boston or it's Houston or it's Downers Grove, Illinois. We can see ourselves in those situations. So once again, we empathize greatly with those who are affected by this, particularly with the city itself and the first responders who are involved, who obviously, while it is their job, it's not the kind of thing that you ever can truly anticipate. And once again, our thoughts and prayers go out to all those affected. That ends my report. We'll bring it to item 10, which is the manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. We do have a report tonight. It's a quarterly report for the first quarter of 2013. We will be focusing on the general fund tonight, and here to present this report is our finance director, Judy Budden.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Okay, as Dave mentioned, it's the first quarter report for the general fund. The revenues were budgeted at $41.63 million, and the first quarter we expected $8.29 million, and it actually came in at $8.53 million for a favorable variance of $240,000. Which means the revenues are tracking above budget, and the primary driver of that is building permits. They were favorable by $226,000, and the reason for that was 2 large commercial permits. All the other revenues are at or near expected levels. Just an item of note, we continue to update the council on the income tax distributions. They are currently running 3 months behind, and as you know, the village is participating in a consortium of municipalities to monitor and protect those revenues. We may be making some progress. The expense side, since it was a balanced general fund budget, the expenses were $41.63 million. The first quarter expected was $8.12 million, and you can see the actual expenses came pretty close. All of the expenses are at this point tracking at or near budget levels. And as it's outlined in the long-range financial plan, we continue to implement operating efficiencies wherever we can, closely monitor the expenses, and replace only essential staff vacancies. That's it for the report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Ms. Budden, any questions or comments from members of the council with respect to the quarterly report? The only thing I will note is there is some legislation that is pending that would at least perhaps address part of the delays, and that is what is called the direct deposit bill. Right now, part of the reason why we are delayed in receiving our payments from the state is because of the Byzantine process that the payments go through before they ultimately get to municipalities. And of course, I'm referring to our share of the state income tax. There's legislation pending that I believe it passed out of the House. I'm not sure where I think it's still kicking around the Senate in Springfield, and that would require those payments to, without going through the details, skip the red tape and almost be directly deposited to the municipalities to which they are directed. So hopefully, if that legislation, if it works out the way it's supposed to, will greatly assist in eliminating that float that the state so nicely takes advantage of at our expense. But enough of that. Thank you very much for the report. Any other questions from members of the council?
That ends our report tonight, Mayor.
Terrific. Thank you, Mr. Fieldman. And that brings us to item 11, Attorney's Report.
I have no report.
Thank you, Ms. Petrarca. That brings us to item 12, Councilmember Reports and New Business. As usual, we'll break that up into new business and councilmember reports. Any members of the council have any items of new business to consider? There being no items of new business, we'll go to councilmember reports. Commissioner Barnett.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Durkin.
Yeah, I actually have two things I want to bring up. One is I had passed out an article that I saw in the Chicago Sun-Times, and if one were to look at this article, it was actually published on December 12th of 2012, but it was updated on January 14th of 2013. As many of us, not only in this room, us here up on the dais, have seen and felt the impact of the obnoxiously high rate of water that the city of Chicago is charging the residents of Downers Grove, along with all the other municipalities in the area that get their water through the city of Chicago. Understanding that the DuPage Water Commission simply passes that rate on to the municipalities. The Chicago aldermen are back at looking for ways to give free water to those in the city of Chicago. So if one were to just Google this, which I just did again while we were sitting up here, the chairman of the City Council Budget Committee, Alderman Kerry Austin of the 34th Ward, is stating that there is a subcommittee back to look to give out $20 million worth of free water to nonprofits. Why do I bring this up? Because we all sit here, we've all found ways to reduce our cost of water because of the high rates. And for them to go out and to continuously find ways to charge the suburbanites for their issues and then give it away for free, I can't stand for that. So if anyone has any interest in this, I would encourage you to please either contact me and I'll find out who we need to start a writing campaign to or who we need to talk to. I just think this issue needs to be addressed. We've all made cuts. We understand the issue, but to go ahead and continuously raise the rates, not addressing the issue, and then find ways to give it out for free, it's just besides me. So I normally don't come up here and stand on my soapbox, but it's a huge impact I know on my family with the price of water, and it's only going to continuously go up because there's additional increases that the city's going to mandate and pass down to us. On a lighter note, I had the opportunity and would encourage anyone to have their infant car seats rechecked. We are in the process of getting a new car seat for our son, graduating to a booster seat, and I thought I installed it properly and had confidence, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to come over here to Village Hall and see the police and see if they can check it. I thought I did it right. Lo and behold, I didn't do it right. The message here is if you think you're doing it right, you maybe are, but there's a chance you may not. So it is a free service that we are very proud to offer. It takes no more than 5 minutes. And I would encourage you, anyone who's in that position for an infant chair, a booster chair, or whatever, please take advantage of our professionals here who have gone to school and whatever training we put them through for this, because I learned a new use for a swim noodle, and that is to level out the chair base so you are properly. A swim noodle, in case no one knows, is that long styrofoam thing in multitude of colors. So it's a free service. Please take advantage of it, and that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Schnell.
Just in line with that, as a grandparent, I went over and had the car seat. And trust me, it is a great service because car seats have changed a lot in all the years since we've had our kids. So it's safety, and it is a free service, and they're really nice as far as explaining to you how to get the seat in and out, and it's great. So I agree with you. It's awesome.
Terrific. Thank you. Commissioner Waldeck.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Rankin.
I wanted to thank you, Mayor Tully, for coming to the Lester Fun Run on Sunday. in your shorts. I don't know how you did it. It was like 40 degrees, but thanks for supporting Muster School.
I ran real fast.
And also, thanks staff. I went to the paper shredding event on Saturday to drop off, my stacks of paper, and that was so simple and it was just managed really well. I don't know, do we do that semi-annually, or I can't remember, once a year? Well, it was a beneficial event, and I encourage everyone to take part of that because it was very easy. There was no lines, so it was great. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I was glad to do it. It was glad that event was scheduled. The Running with the Leopards at Lessard School was scheduled last year. It was canceled due to weather, and we were all looking forward to that 70-degree temperature we were promised. It didn't quite materialize.
I was actually looking forward to it being canceled again.
What's that? Hope?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Commissioner Newstead.
Thank you, Mayor. The Downers Grove Chamber of Commerce Young Professional Network Pancake Breakfast is this Saturday at the Downers Grove Moose Lodge. The pancake breakfast is from 8 a.m. till 12 p.m. and the proceeds will benefit the Young Professional Network Scholarship Fund. It's a great event. So if anybody's looking for pancakes Saturday morning, the Moose Lodge is your place. That's all I have today, Mayor. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Commissioner. A couple things. First of all, I also participated in the paper shredding event, and it's a nice service that we provide where you can get rid of a certain amount of your personal papers that you don't want to do things like burn, because that wouldn't be a good idea. Not good for your fireplace. And you don't want to dispose of them in the trash because of concerns about identity theft. So it's a good service that we provide, and I'm glad that we do it. Hopefully we can take advantage of it again. The other thing I want to talk about is many of us attended a terrific event this morning. As was previously reported, a Danish company, Grundfos, selected Downers Grove as their new North American headquarters. Grundfos is the world's largest manufacturer of pump technology with an emphasis on technology, because these pumps are not, these aren't, what do they say, this is not your grandfather's water pump. These are highly sophisticated machines that cause the company to actually refer themselves as more of a technology company and a software company than they are an actual manufacturing of pipes and valves and things of that nature. It was a terrific wall-breaking event because they're actually going into the 17th floor of the 2001 Butterfield Road property. Very nice office building, which I didn't appreciate until today. The spectacular views of the northern part of our town out of a window. But because they weren't actually building a new building, but renovating existing space, the hard hats and sledgehammers were used to demolish a wall in a symbolic beginning for what they plan to build out and grow from their stronghold here in Downers Grove. Really a terrific group of folks. We had great information communicated to us about their plans to become a $1 billion company here in Downers Grove over the next 4 or 5, 6 years. And some of their technology and also some of their commitments to being good stewards of the environment, and also their efforts at innovation and sustainability, all things that we can certainly appreciate here in Downers Grove. We have plenty of water things to take care of ourselves, and pumps and infrastructure are important to us, and some of their ideas and technology, I think, eventually could be utilized to help municipalities generally with some of their infrastructure needs. So I want to once again thank CEO Jes Monk Hensen, and the vice president of their overall global group, Mr. Soren Sorensen, who I probably could have talked to for days. He was a fascinating man. We welcome Grundfos to Downers Grove. They are another addition to a great corporate lineup that we have here in our community, and again, as I said, at the event, which was attended by not only DuPage County Chairman Dan Cronin, but also Illinois Governor Pat Quinn. Part of the reason why companies like Grundfos choose Downers Grove is because of the leadership and vision of the Village Council, our village staff, our Economic Development Corporation, our Downtown Management Corporation, of course, our outstanding Chamber of Commerce, who I know well enough to say is the best Chamber of Commerce in the area. Ms. Crawford has taught me well. So welcome to Grundfos. We look forward to them not only occupying the building in full, but if they achieve what they've set out to achieve, they are going to be just doing fantastic things, not only here in Downers Grove, but throughout the entire country and globally. And appreciate all my colleagues that attended as well as village staff. That's all I have. Nothing further to report. So with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Commissioner Schnell?
Aye.
Commissioner Durkin?
Aye.
Commissioner
Commissioner Rankin.
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett.
Aye.
Commissioner Neustadt.
Aye.
Commissioner Waldeck.
Aye.
Mayor Tully.
Aye, thank you. We are adjourned. Good night. Be safe.